I can sit and stare. Those are two of my special skills on my resume. Sitting and staring, and I drive a stick shift. And I know a little French. Okay, staring. I always promise that I'll stare, but I'll fully include.
Jeff,
yes, Ben.
So
Yes, Ben.
I'm going to ask you the questions, and what would be fantastic is if you
Repeat
could
the question.
No, you don't need to.
I will not repeat it,
No.
Aja.
Social video, people like it a little bit choppy, a little bit messy, but if you could answer straight down the camera.
You know, I have eyeballs that wander, but...
That's fine.
But, you know, I'll try as best I can. I'll include the viewer.
Okay. Are you happy to start?
If I were any happier, I'd need a wipe of some kind.
Wow.
You know,
Okay.
you,
So,
you know,
Jeff, how did you first get into acting?
I got the bug of some kind. Hello. Well, that's the universe telling us.
God.
Okay, I'm going to start again. Here's what happened. Like I say, I just got a strange bug for it when I was 10-ish, as I remember. My mom used to take my sister and I, as I remember, to, we grew up in Pittsburgh, outside of Pittsburgh in a suburb, and there was a children's theater program, and just seeing that, I was, you know, excited and transfixed by it, and thought, what are those people doing? What are they doing backstage? You know, what's this all about? But I was excited and kind of jazzed up. And then around that year, I think I went to Chatham Music Day Camp. This may be more information than you want to know. And there was a drama program amongst all the other things. I loved that whole camp. And anyway, they gave me a part in this little show. And I jumped on stage when it was our turn after I'd rehearsed for a week or so before at home. And I had to sing and dance. It was called Belle of the Balkans. I had so much fun that afterwards they said, how'd you like it? My parents were there. They said, how'd you like that? I was like, I did. And I kept secret to myself, you know, that I had actually decided, I think I want to be an actor. And then I went to this college 6-week program between 9th and 10th and 10th and 11th grades when I was, 14 or 15 or something like that. Had a marvelous time. I was totally turned on by it. In fact, one day I came home talking like I never had. My dad said to my mom in my presence, hey, I think the kid is stimulated. The kid is, which felt, and I knew it was important what he was saying. And at that point, I became obsessed with it. I know this is a much longer-winded answer than you want. Obsessed with it, and I'd take a shower every morning. That's certainly more information than you want, but we had a glass door and it would steam up, and I'd say, please, God, let me be an actor. I would write on it. And then before I left, I would wipe it off because I still didn't want anybody to know. And then right after high school, moved to New York City and studied with a great acting teacher, Sandy Meisner. Anyway, hilarity ensued after that, and that's what happened.
You've got a very unique style of acting, and it's something that a lot of people on the internet love.
A unique style?
Yeah.
Me? Okay.
Is that something from a very young age you think was present, or is that something that developed as you became older and more comfortable?
Well, that's a deep and interesting question. My mind is inflamed with what you've suggested, but I'll try to put out the major part of the fire and give you a few juicy embers. Here's what happened. Hey, I was interested in clothing early on for one reason or another. I don't know why. I had a little talent at art, and I remember during a certain period in art, I used to always draw collars, men's shirts and ties. I was interested in it. I didn't want to be a clothing designer or anything, but I was kind of interested in it. And around that time, this is like the mid-'60s, and the styles kind of changed. So I kind of went to my glass, because I needed glasses. I went and I said, there was one pair amongst all things that looked like that, and I went back to something that I liked like that. But I said, give me those John Lennon glasses. I wanted some of those round wire frames. And then I went to New York and studied acting, and I not only and was taught to work from the inside out, but also the outside in. And if you get the right pair of shoes, it may be a portal into what your character is and how he might feel and walk. Well, Sandy Meisner also said that, not to copy anybody. And hopefully, if you follow this course through the next 20 years and your life, if you get chances to practice, you'll find something of your voice that, might be your own. anyway, I did that, and over the course of thankfully getting chances to practice and try things out, I found things, and in fact, I feel on the threshold of more self-possession and trust in myself and instincts and like that, if you know what I'm talking about.
A lot of our audience will know you from the kind of memes, the GIFs. Do you look at that stuff, or do you just let it pass you by and think they can do what they want?
Fans are so sweet. They're sweet when they come up, and it's nice when they do little funny pictures. I like, pictures, and we did an episode in World According to Jeff Goldblum where I went to a tattoo parlor where they were giving out Jeff Goldblum tattoos, and I participated in that. Anyway, that's all. I kind of get a kick out of it, if you want to know the truth. And people are generally so sweet, and hey, guy, that I look at it. I look at it for a little bit, and it's fun and sweet,
We actually realised after we'd set up that the sound man has a sticker of your face on his.
What the devil? Oh, I see. I know that sticker. Yes.
I have a range of Jeff Goldblum stickers.
Really? Okay. Well, thanks. Thank you. I take that as a great coming from you. High praise indeed.
The first time I saw you was The Fly, and I was like, this guy's a horror actor.
Yes, sir.
And then there's Jurassic Park, which is action. You've got stuff like Thor, which is more comedy, superhero. How do you manage to, as in your words, inhabit yourself while not getting typecast?
Oh, wow, very deep question and interesting, and I could probably talk and riff on that for too long a time. But, what you make me think of is my appetite for variety, because I think, to get better, and that's what I'm trying to do. I still consider myself a humble student of, pretending and acting. You want to do different things than you've done, and from each other, and, just to interest yourself and maybe other people. You want to do surprising things, unexpected things, and different things. Yet at the same time, even though the idea, I think, is that the approach that that Sandy Meisner recommended all those years ago is that even though you may have a limp and an eye patch or a dialect, and you certainly want to explore, if it's in you, if that's the kind of actor that you might be, explore your ability to characterize and to jettison your straight behavior, so-called. And I like doing that. I like that part of acting. And it's always, he would say, made up of essentially parts of your own gizzard, So that's the approach that I'm still tinkering with and trying to develop.
You're often called a scene stealer. Minor roles that you have a massive impact in the film.
Uh-huh.
Is that something you aim for?
No, I don't aim to steal anything. I'm not a thief of any kind. What does Sting say? Another one of your, favorite sons whom I admired terrifically. If you love something, set it free, something like that. Anyway, you don't want to snatch anything or like that. And Sandy Meisner once again did celebrate and encourage us toward the ensemble spirit and technology, whereby, the better the other person is, the better you are, and what you do is dependent in some way, especially spontaneously, like my jazz endeavors, by listening, actually being available to what's going on around you, and then opening up in reaction to that somehow. You ain't trying to take anything or steal anything, you're just trying to tell a story and have an interesting experience, as intimate and rich as you can have with your fellow practitioner. So that's what I'm after. And then the chips fall however they do, and the story gets told, and people are interested in one thing or another. But that's my aim.
We have a big audience that's global.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Hello.
It's not mine, it's
LADbible's. I don't know
but
what to do. Now I'm getting shy.
But if you were talking to our sort of like big audience, and you were saying, if you're going to watch one Jeff Goldblum film, which is the one that you go, I nailed that?
Well, I would never use that language. Geez, I nailed that. I don't think I would hate myself afterwards if I uttered that thing. Oh, you know, well, like I've been saying, and I'm not just pretending, I'm trying to get better. So I think the more recent things are, I might prefer seeing. Sometimes, I'll tell you the truth, I see older things, and I guess it comes with the territory of trying to get better. But I see them and I go, you know, I can get a kick out of it. I'm not just neurotic about it, but sometimes I go, nah, I could do that better. I think I know how to do that better. So if I were going to recommend and show anything to anybody, you know, it would be more recent things, and not just because I'm pitching it at this point, but I tell you this, I saw it. We haven't seen it with an audience. I'm looking forward to seeing it tonight with an audience for the first time, and taking my kids to see it for the first time in a movie theater. That's the first movie they will have seen. I like this Jurassic World Dominion. That's what I would say to look at first. And then you can delve into any of the Wes Anderson movies, because I'll tell you, it's my theory, and this is not so crazy, everybody thinks the same thing, that you can't be good unless it's a good director, unless you're working with a good director, and the whole thing works. And sure enough, Wes Anderson is a genius, and you know, I like being in all those, and those are enjoyable, full, wholly successful movies creatively, I do believe. So, you know, there's this and that. Hey, you could take a look at The Fly if you want to. You know, there you go.
Are there any roles you passed on that you would have loved to have taken in hindsight?
That's a good and naughty question. And I'm going to be discreet about it, because, you know, if you pass on something and then somebody else takes it, they may not want to hear, yeah, that was my leavings, you know. That's no good. But there was one that, you know, I can sort of torture myself with recrimination about one thing or another, but I'm getting better over the years, and so even a thing like that, I can go, no, you know what, it turned out for the best. Here I am, and it's all fine, and who knows, if you pull one thread of what might have been, it could have upset the whole thing, right? Just like Jimmy Stewart in It's a Wonderful Life, or something like that, or any of those time travel movies. So I wouldn't have wanted to do it any differently, but there was one movie that I had a moment, or my manager of now 30 years said, he says, if there was one thing, I think I misled you on that one. Yeah, I wish we'd done that. But anyway, I don't know that it would have made a difference. But you and I, when we go to get off camera, I'll tell you an interesting story.
Are there any actors that you would love to star alongside that you have not yet?
We acted with?
Yes.
Oh, tons. I mean, Nick Cage is so interesting. And I saw him, and did you see Mandy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did?
It's fantastic.
Oh, I thought that was interesting. I got a big kick out of that. Yeah, I'd like to work with him, and in that vein, Christopher Walken. We've done 4 movies together, but never had a scene together. How about Al Pacino? I've never worked with Al Pacino. Wouldn't that be dreamy? Robert De Niro. You know, anyway, there are just a ton of actors. Oh, I have worked with a little bit Kate Blanchett. Oh my gosh, I saw her on stage do Blanche Dubois in Streetcar Named Desire in Brooklyn. And I've seen that on stage. I've seen the movie. That was the best Blanche Dubois I've ever seen. I'm deeply starstruck with her. You know, there are just a lot of people. Hey, you know, Kristen Stewart. Gosh, I think she's wonderful. And Tilda Swinton is wonderful. Anyway, there you go. There's a few.
You said earlier that you're always trying to develop, you're trying to improve.
I am.
What's next? What would you like to do? What's the next 1 year, 5 years?
Oh, my golly. Well, at this point, I'm appreciating every single moment, and paradoxically, maybe, on one hand, if nothing were to happen after this, I'd be happy as a clam and fully satisfied. At least I aspire to that kind of acceptance. I'm deeply appetized because I'm freer than ever. I tell you, I'm enjoying myself more than ever. And so I'm appetized to do many things. And, you know, I like surprise, so I wouldn't want to order it from the menu. I'd say to the chef, you know, I trust you. Bring me whatever you recommend and surprise me. Ben, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate all your attention. Thank you. I like that sound of the clapper.
Sharp.
It's my favorite sound in life. I don't know why. Okay.
Great.
you can never really be true friends after something like that. I just don't think it can ever happen. Maybe if you fought and it was a draw, maybe you could still be friends, but the idea of being friends with someone that has beaten you, it's a hard thing for your head to compute.